Yeah, so good evening everyone once again. So yesterday you learned the basics, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, today I'm going to start the like built-in data structures that are present in Python. So generally, what do you mean by data, or you can uh, say something like how what is meant by data or structure? What is meant by structure generally? You can unmute yourself and you can speak. Okay. Generally,
Struct
yes, you can.
in my way, structure is like a body of the program, syntax of the program.
Yeah, like organizing some things in a certain way that are required for us, right? Simply. So in the same way, data structures is also nothing but data organization and its management, and like how to store it and all. So simply data structure is a collection of data values and the functions or operations that can be applied to data. It means uh, whatever we want to apply certain actions, like how to remove them, how to add them, or how to arrange them in a ascending or descending order, how to slice them and all, and everything that related to data can be performed by using data structures. So this is what data structure means. We have four built-in types of data structures, that is list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. Am I clear, everybody? We have four types of built-in data structures. I'm talking about built-in data structures: list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. So let's get into what is meant by list. Generally, have you listened anything about arrays?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is meant by array?
Set of elements.
Array is a collection of single data items.
Yeah, yes, you are right. But the difference between the list and array is, in array we can store only homogeneous elements. It means only one particular data type. But when it comes to list and all, you can store heterogeneous type of elements. Like you can have only integer values, or you can have only string values, or you can have the combination of both string and integers. This is why we will use a list. Not only list, we will use dictionary, tuple, and all. Yes, you are right. So we can write a list by using square brackets for that. So, and it allows duplication of values. It means you can have one any number of times to any number of times, yes, and all. So simply it can allow duplicate values. And these are ordered. That term, there is a difference between ordered and unordered, right? Ordered means whatever the input we give, it has to be in the same in the form while giving the output. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so the output have to be in 1, 2, 3, 4 only, not 3, 2, 1, 4 and all. So this is what ordered means. It means whatever the inputs we gave in the order, the same order will be given in the output. Is this clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how to access that list elements? We can access the list elements by using its indexes simply. Like in arrays, the indexes starts from 0, right? The same thing happens in the list as well. So the starting element contains the index of 0, 1, 2, and 3. It means the ending index would be n minus 1. If at all, if we have 5 elements, the index would be 4, because we are starting from 0, right? That's the reason. So we can access the elements of the list by simply referring to its index. Here I have referred the index 2. It means 0, 1 and 2. The value corresponding to index 2 is 5, right? So we got the output as 5. Not only the positive indexes, we can have negative indexes as well. We will take negative indexes when we are traversing from right to left. I mean, the 6 contains the index -1, -2, -3 and -4. So I'm going to access the value corresponding to negative index -2. It means -1 and -2. So the value would be 5. Did you got this? How to access the elements of list?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is nothing but range of indexing. I mean, not only you can access a particular element by using only a single index. You can get a values by using multiple indexes. Like this is the starting value. I will write the general syntax here once. So this is a general syntax, like how to we can get values in between certain index to certain index. So by this starting means we need to give from which index we need to want, and the end is nothing but which element you want in between that. If we take this example, we have 3 values, right? First one is a string, second one, third one are integers. So I'm going to get the values between index 1 to 2. It means it will exclude the last index value simply, including the starting index value and excluding the last index value. That's it. So I got only 2. It means 0, 1 and 2. What I said, it will exclude the last index value, right? So the index is 2 and the corresponding value is 3. So it will exclude that and the remaining value is printed. It means the output would be 2. Did you get this?
Once again repeat, sir.
Sir, once again repeat. Sir.
Yeah, okay. Simply what is happening in this is, if at all, if you want to get elements from a certain index to certain index, I mean in between that elements, including the first element and excluding the last index element. I will take some more values here. So see here, now you get the difference. Indexing starts from 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What I gave the starting index as 1, right? So it will start from 2. The value corresponding that index is 2, right? So it will start from this. And the ending value is 2, right? So 1 and this is 2, right? So what I said, it will exclude the ending index value. I mean, this 3 wouldn't given in the output. So what is left with us now? Only 2, right? That's why we got 2. Let me change this again. Okay, 3 or 4, anything. So have you seen this? It will exclude the last index element. It means 2, 3, and this is 4. Sorry, this is 2, 3, 6. Starting from index 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, right? So it has excluded the last index element, that is 7. So in between elements are to be given as output. I mean, it has printed as output. Is this clear?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. It is clear.
Yeah, yes, Shravya. I think yesterday you learned about strings, right? So in the same way, it's nothing but slicing. So if at all, if you won't give the ending index value, it will simply print up to last element. See here. Got it right? It goes on printing until the last element is found. I mean, it starts from 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. So till 9 it has printed. This is how you can do by using positive indexes. When coming to negative index also, you can do that. So negative indexing starts from right to left, right? So I have given -1 to -2. I have got empty thing because it won't print the values. See here. Okay, you can refer by using negative index, but it's not possible to slice with the negative indexing. Actually,
Why, sir?
it has to come. Wait. Yeah, okay. See here. If at all, if you are using negative indexes, it's taking the starting from right? So here we have 9. The corresponding index is -1, right? So, and then if at all, if you won't give the ending indexes either in the negative form, so it will simply take in the positivity. Like, I mean, it will print the last value of that list, which we have here is 9, right? So it is simply printing the 9 as the output. That is a simple thing. So simply you can refer by using negative index only for one value. It's not possible to slice using negative values at each and every time. So see here, when you are going to traverse from negative index and when you are going to use it in a slicing, it doesn't work for you. So is this okay?
Why, sir?
Yeah, well, actually there is no reason to say this. It has to give some output as per my knowledge, but I don't know the thing here.
So if we take a single digit -2, we get the same value.
No. If
No.
it will print directly
Is it
the 8 value. It will use the 8 value. See here. So when you are going to use negative index for single index, it is going to work. But when you are going to slice in between the negative indexes, it won't work simply.
What is the reason, sir? I don't understand.
Actually, there is no reason for this. Actually, it has to work as per my knowledge, but I don't know the reason why it is not working. See here, each and every time it is going to say empty list. So that's the thing. So this is how you can slice the values between one index to another index using positive, and for negative it doesn't work. Only you can refer only for one index. Okay, is that okay? Like how to index, slicing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will refer to this and I will answer you at the end of the session. Sorry. So coming to how to change list items. Actually, the term mutable means it can be changed. We have mutable and immutable when it comes to list tuples and dictionaries and all. So the term mutable means the list values can be changeable. It means you can change it. So by referring its index, you can change that. So here I have a list called L with values apple, banana, and cherry. So I'm going to change the index 1 value as black currant. So we have index 1 means 0 and 1. So the banana is replaced this corresponding value. I means black currant.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, yes.
Sir, one show the previous one. In that -3 semicolon -1 you give, sir. Thank you.
Okay. See here, with the negative indexing, it's simply showing as an empty list only. It is not giving any output.
Sir.
If you give bigger number at right side, negative index is working, sir.
Yes, sir.
Like -3, -1.
Okay. Actually, it's taking in this way. Okay. -1 to -3 means when you are going to traversed from this, it's -1 and it's going in this on way. So the next value is empty. So that's why it's giving. Sorry, sir. Okay, thank you.
Going to right side.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that. That's the reason. Okay. So is that okay now?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. This is how you can change the elements of a list, like by simply referring it to its index. So if at all, if you want to change to, you can do that, or any other index. So now here it is, how to check whether an element is present in the list or not, simply by using keyword, which is in. So if at all, if the given element is found in that list, I'm going to say print this word, the word yes is present in yes word. Or you can use any other thing. So see here, because we have yes in this list, right? So while declaring this strings, you can use single or double quote, sorry. That's the reason. So there is no problem whether you are using single or double quotes. So coming to length, you can find the length of the list by using its length function, which will returns the length of the list. Like we have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 values, right? So it's simply giving 4. If we have more than this, it will give more than that values. So we got 6. Simply using length function, you can determine the length of the list. So is this clear, like how to change list items and how to check whether the item is present in that or not? And the next thing is using length function.
Got it. Understood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now, how to add list elements? So you can add the list elements by using append or insert methods. So if at all, if you are using append, means it will add the element at the end of the list. If at all, if you want to insert an element at a particular index, then at that moment use insert. So see here we have a list called A, which has 4 values, and I'm going to add this value 2 at the end of the list. So for that I'm using append method, because it adds at the end of the list, right? So see here we got it 2 at the end. So whatever the thing you want, you can do that. So we got it. But all, if you want to insert at a particular index, then use insert method at that moment. Simply the first argument is the corresponding index which you want to insert and the value to be inserted at that index. So is this okay, like how to append? Yeah, yes, you can. Yeah, hello. Okay, this is how you can add items to a list by using append and insert methods. So is this okay?
Sir, once more.
Yeah. Here is a list. If at all, if you want to add elements or items to the list, you can use 2 methods. One is append and the other one is insert. Append means it will add at the end of the list, but whenever you want to insert element inside the list at a particular index, so at that moment use insert. That is simple thing. So append, I have used append method here, so it's going to be added at the end of the list. See, after 6 we got 90, right? So this is how you can use append. Whenever at a particular index, you can use insert method. See here, I have sent the argument as 1, which is the value Albert has to be inserted at the corresponding index called 1. So we have 1 and the 0, and this is the 1 index, right? So the value Albert is inserted at that position, and the remaining values have been entered into new indexes. See here, 2. We have here it in the index 2. So this is how you can. It means whenever you want to insert a particular index, you can do that. No elements is deleted and all, but their indexes would be changed whenever you use insert.
Sir, but if we want to insert before 1, what we need to write?
Simply you need to say 0 here. See here, this is the index argument, right? So you need to insert either the index you want. That's it. See here, you got it right. Yeah.
So negative slicing is once more explained.
Negative slicing. Yeah, when you're traversing from right to left, then we can use by using negative slicings. I mean, the indexing starts from negative, right? -1, -2, -3 and all. So by using, if at all, if you want to get a single element by using negative index, try to give its negative index. I mean, I have given -1 here, so the output is 9. So you can rerun this once again. -4. See here, we have got the value 6, right? Because at the corresponding -4 index, we have value 6. That's it. So if at all, if you want values in between so and so index and so and so index using negative indexing. So at that moment, you need to use the starting negative index and the ending negative index. I mean, when you're traversing from this side, even though you are going in a negative indexing way, so the indexing starts from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 and all, right? So the starting has to be from this side. It means for 3 corresponding negative index would be what? -1, -2, -3, -4. Yeah, -5. Let's see here. You need to input the starting negative index of that. And then the negative index at the ending element. See here, we have -1 and this is -2. Till 8, it will it will exclude that. See here. Did you got this? We have got 3, 6 and 7. It means it will exclude the end indexing value, right? So at the position of -2, we have 8. So it is excluding that. So due to that, we got 3, 6 and 7. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So till now we learned about how to insert elements, right? Now we are going to move on with how to remove items in a list. We have 4 methods, which is remove, pop, delete and clear. So maximum try to avoid clear each and every time, because it will completely clears the list elements. But whenever these 3 things work in the same way, like remove, pop and delete, but there is a small difference between them. It means remove method removes a specific element. So pop also does that, but if you won't give any index value to pop, it will simply delete the last element of that list. See here, pop is a method. Pop method is used to remove the specific item. If no particular index is specified, then this method removes the last item of that list. So, but when it comes to delete also, it will also remove the specific element as well as the total list. But whenever you use clear, it will simply clear the list directly. So first let's go with remove method. So you need to give the value which has to be removed here. See here, I'm going to give the value as banana. It means the value banana would be removed from this list and the remaining is printed here. So the thing is, you need to input the value here, not the index. So we have previously apple, banana and cherry. So after removing banana, we got apple and cherry. So, but when it comes to pop, you need to input the index only, not the value. So see here, we have 3 elements in that, and I'm going to remove the value corresponding to index 1. So the remaining values are apple and cherry. So whenever you won't give any index for that, it will simply remove the last element. I mean the cherry is removed, popped here. We got only apple and banana. So delete also, you can input a specific index, or you can delete completely doing it. So I have given the index as 2. So simply it will delete the value corresponding to that 2. It means we have cherry here and it's going to be deleted. So the remaining values are apple and banana. So whenever you are using clearly, it will directly clears the total list. I mean it will empties the list. So this is how you can remove elements from the list by using these 4 methods.
Sir,
Yes.
can't we use index for removing something while using remove?
It's not possible. You need to input a particular value for that.
Maybe we can remove the item using index also, sir. Will you try it once?
Yes. Each and every time I refer to the value only. That's why I said that. So see here, X not in list.
You
What
use
is-
t dot remove t of 0, sir, once.
Okay. It means you need to input the index, like simply it's while you are going to slice, you are using the index, right? So simply it's going to remove the value at that particular index. So either you can use value or the corresponding index by using this form, t of 0. So is this clear, like how to delete elements? So the next thing is like list copying. Generally, copying means copying some from one value to another value. Like we have a equals to 10 and you want to copy it into B, means you are copying the value of A to B. That's it. So here we have 2 ways, which is copy method and then the list method. So simply you can do that. So first the thing is copy method. So here I have A equals to 1, 5 and 9. So we are going to copy the values of A to B. Simply we can do that by using copy method. So let me try this once again. See here, it is not going to take any arguments. So that's the thing. Whether you want to go, whenever you want to copy all the elements, so simply use copy at that moment. So here list also, it will also do the same work like the copy. So let's check this once again as well. So we got it right. So either you can copy by using list or copy, but whenever you are using list, you can specify this particular value as well. I mean, it is going to take some arguments, right? So due to that, it's going to accept that. So if at all, if you want refer for particular range, then it will simply copy all elements, John and Danny. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next thing is joining list. You can use it by using plus operator or extend method. Plus is nothing but assigning values. Sorry, not assignment. It's an addition. So we have 2 lists, A and B. So I'm going to add those 2 values. So by using plus operator here. So the values which are present in the second list are going to be added at the end of first list. See here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So after 4 we got 5, 6 and 7, right? So this is a thing that happens when you use plus operator. So whenever you are using extend method, simply you need to pass the arguments of that particular list, that particular list variable. We have second list variable as L2. So I'm going to use it here as an argument for this extend method, which will join these two lists, L1 and L2. Let's try this once again here as well. You got it right. So simply the how many values you want to join, you can do that for second list or first list. So using plus and extend methods, we can join two lists. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So some of the list methods we have inbuilt, right? Like append, we have seen clear, copy, extend, and all these things. So we left with count and index. Count is nothing but it will count how many times the value has been repeated in that list. So you need to pass argument like which element you want to count. I have given here 1. So 1 is repeated thrice here. Here we have 1. This is another 1. This is another 1. So the count is 3. So either you want to get the index of that, you can get it. I mean, the corresponding index. You have a corresponding value of that index. We have index called 4 and the value corresponding to it is 3. Wait here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, what I said is correct. It's nothing but it will return the index of that corresponding value. I have given 2 as a value, so the value corresponding to that the index corresponding to that value is 1. 0, 1, 2, 3. So 2 here, the index is 1, right? So it has printed 1. So is this clear?
So if we give index 1,
No, actually we are going to get the index of that corresponding element. Index of 2 means the value is 2 right here. So the corresponding index is 1. That's why it has a given output as 1. So do you got this? See here once again.
Once you
So
give
if at
4,
all if you
number
want
4.
to, yeah, yes.
Sir, we have to give value. Then it.
Yes, it will print the index of that value.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have given 4. The value is 3. So see here.
Sir, if we give 1, what?
So if I give 1, what will be the output here?
3.
0.
Is that 3? If I give the value as 1, what will be the output?
0, sir.
3, sir.
2.
0.
Yeah, it's 0 only because it will output the index. So see here we have got 0.
Sir, why can you give
sir,
the-
but 5 also 1
Ye-
did.
I didn't get what.
Sir, say again, sir.
Say again.
Yeah, whenever you are going to get the index of a particular element, at that moment use index method. So see here, even though I'm going to give 1 as a value here, it will consider only the first time where it has came.
Okay, sir.
See
Okay.
here. Yeah, we have got 1 at the 0 index, right, at first moment. So we got 0 only. It will exclude all other things, like all other places. So see here, even though if I give 5, what is the index here? We got 4, right? It means the indexing starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the corresponding index is 4. That's it. So again, reverse method means it will simply reverse the elements of a list. Like we have apple, banana, and cherry. So simply it will reverse like cherry at first, and then banana would be in that position only because it's in the middle. So the next would be apple. So let's try this as well once again. So it won't take any arguments, a reverse method. So we got only in the reverse order. So the next thing is sorting. By default, it will sort in ascending order, but whenever you want to get in the descending order, at that moment you need to give an argument like false for that reverse. Like reverse equals to false, it means it will use in the descending order. So see here we have cars equals to Ford, BMW, Volvo, and I'm going to give reverse equals to true. It means it has to sort in ascending order. Sorry, descending order. Okay. So see here, like alphabets, we have A, B, C, D, and E, F, right? So whenever you are going to use reverse equals to true, it will sort in descending order. See here, V is first, then F and B, right? First values. So we got Volvo first, and then Ford, and then BMW. Maybe you have some questions like, if at all, if you have Volvo, and the next value is Vicky. See here.
Sir, if we have same alphabets,
See, one see here. We have two V's at the first position, right? For these two words. At that moment, it will go for the second one. Like we have O here and we have I here. I comes before O, right? So it will take Vicky in the first priority than Volvo. So see here. Did you got it? Because I comes before O, right? So whenever the same values exist in both strings, so at that moment it will go and check for second and third index and all. So reverse equals to true means it will sort in descending order. So reverse equals to false means it will sort in ascending order. Is this clear?
yes, it's clear.
Yeah. The same way for strings and digits as well. So see here, the last thing is major difference between the list and tuple is, if at all, if you want to change the elements of a list, elements of particular thing, at that moment prefer list. So because tuples won't allow changing the values once it is initialized. So tuple is a collection which is ordered items and written in closed brackets. Simply we are going to declare the tuples using closed brackets. Either it can be strings or integers or combination of that. So see here, the value of a tuple cannot be changed once after its initialization. And they won't allow duplicate values as well. So in the same way like we accessed in the list, using its indexes, you can access the tuple values for the as well. So using positive indexes or negative indexes, like starting from left to right, it's positive, and right to left, it's negative. So C of 2, 0, 1, and 2. The value corresponding to index 2 is D, right? So it has given D as output. So whenever it is -2, so -1 and -2. So we got C here. So again, this is like slicing only. Positive slicing and negative slicing. So positive slicing means 0. I'm going to get the values from starting index at 0 and ending index at 2. So it will exclude the last value, right? So simply we got John and Danny. So negative indexing as well.
-3, -1.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to run this. Yeah, we got it. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is, yeah, yes. So this is how you can slice the values from a certain index to certain index. So coming to how to change tuple values. As I said that we cannot change tuple values in the previous, right? but you can do it by converting the tuple into list and then changing its value and again converting the list to a tuple. See here, the only possible way to hello.
Once again, sir, I didn't get that.
Which you want this indexing or changing tuple values?
Positive indices.
Yeah, see here. In the list indexing, I have said that positive indexing starts from left to right. In the same way for tuples as well. From left to right, you're traversing in left to right. The indexing is positive. But whenever you are traversing from right to left, the indexing would be starting from negative. See here, I'm going to traverse from left to right. So the indexing starts from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what I said, it will include the starting index value and exclude the last index value which we gave here. So it means 0 and in between 1 and and the last value is 2, right? So the value corresponding to 2 is Surya. So it will exclude that value and print the remaining values. So corresponding 0 index value John, which we got it here, and the after 0 we have 1, right? So the value of 1 is Danny, we got it here, and the next value is 2, right? So whenever you are going to traverse till the index, it will exclude that index value, like it will exclude the Surya value. So due to that, we got only John and Danny here. This is positive indexing. So, but when you're going through negative indexing, first you need to give the last index. I mean, because we are traversing from right to left, right? So when you're traversing from right to left, even though you're traversing from right to left, the values would come in the order of left to right. So the corresponding is -1, -2, -3, and -4. So I'm going to get the value from Danny to Surya. So at that moment, you need to give the corresponding index in negativity is -3 for Danny. So I have given that, and you need to give and excluding index, right? So till I'm going to get, I would like to get value till Surya. So the next value is Arjun, right? So its index is -1 because it will exclude this last value, right? So due to that, I have given -1. So -3 to -1 means it is going to give Danny and Surya. Is this clear for negative indexing?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the next thing is like how to change the tuple values. So the thing is you need to change the tuple first into a list by using list method, and then going to change the corresponding index which you want to change, and then again going to change it into tuple by using tuple method. Like after changing A to in the form of list and assigning to B, the B would be in the form of list only, right? So we can easily change the value that are present in a list by referencing its index, right? So I have given index 1 as P. So we have 0 and it is 1. So at the place of Santosh, it will replace the value with P. And again, after replacing, I'm going to convert these list, B list into tuple. So for that, I'm using tuple method. I'm going to convert it into tuple with corresponding variable as A. So the finally A would be in the tuple only, but the value has changed. See here. In place of Santosh, we got P, right? So this is how you can change the tuple values. Is this clear? First conversion into list and then changing the value whichever you want, and then again converting it into tuple. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So what is the difference between this tuple and list, sir?
So the difference between tuple and list is actually whenever you are going to, whenever you want to change the values at the middle of your program or anything, at that moment you are going to store it in a list values only. But whenever you don't want to change the value at that moment, go for tuple. The only difference is changing the value. Whether you want to change, go for list. Whether you want to don't change at the middle, go for tuple. But even though if you want to change the tuple value, then this is the method, like converting it into list and then to tuple. So is this clear? So the next thing is like by using for loops, you can traverse through tuples as well. For looping statements and all will be discussed in next classes so that you can get it better. So simply for I, which is have taken as a iterating variable for this tuple variable called a. For each I mean the I value starts from 0. So for 0 in a, print I means the value corresponding to that a of 0, which is c. So the next value is d, and the next value is c, and next is f. So this is how you can traverse through list using loops.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you say the syntax for loop in Python, sir?
This is a general syntax for loop in Python. For whether you want to, like I mean the reference variable for iterating through the loop, and then in which list or tuple you want to iterate it, and then this is a place where you can write the body of that for loop. Like whether you want to do some other operations or anything, you can do that. So simply here.
Sir, I did not get that.
Hello.
So once I repeat, sir.
Yeah, this is a bit different from like C and Core Java, but this is very simple. Like the iterate variable, and then where you want to iterate that variable, and the next thing is body of that for loop. Like whether you want to print some certain statements or you want to do certain operations, and all could be done in this place. And here indentation is also a particular thing in Python. Is that clear? Like simply what I did is I'm going to iterate through this whole tuple using for loop. That's what I did there. In the upcoming class, after 2 to 3 sessions, we have looping statements and all. So the next thing is like if means it's a conditional statement, like checking whether this is particular thing is present in or not, whether it satisfies certain condition or not, right? So whenever you want to check whether the element is present in tuple or not, you can use in keyword at that moment. So I would like to check whether CSC is present in this tuple or not. So I have used if statement here. So if at all if CSC is present in this tuple, so just simply print this statement which is present in this print, like CSC is my favorite branch. So this is how you can check whether an element is present in that or not.
So if it is not present, sir?
So if it is not present, then it has to go for else, but we don't have any else here, right? So simply it won't output anything here. So see here. Did we get any output here? We didn't, because whenever if condition is not met, you need to go for else statement, right? In general, for whether you have learned C or Java, I don't know, but if you learn that, you will get this. And don't worry, we have conditional statements and looping statements in the upcoming classes. So the next thing is how to get the length of tuple. Using length function, you can do that. So simply whatever we did in list, here also that the thing only. Using length, you can get the length of the tuple. We have 2 values, so the length of the tuple is 2. So it's just clear. Don't worry about these looping statements and all. In the upcoming classes, you would get clear idea. So the next thing is, you may get a doubt like why have used comma here, because if at all if you won't give this comma here, it will simply treat this as a set strings. See here the difference here once again. if at all, if you want to create a tuple with only one value, after the string value, try to place a comma at that place so that it could be treated it as a tuple only. See here. So this is representing a tuple, right? So if at all, if you want you comma here, see here what will happen. So simply it's showing that it is a string, only a string. It's not a tuple. So that's the difference. So due to that, you need to use comma if at all, if you want to place only one element in tuple. So now coming to delete, only delete method is used here, like how you can, because they are immutable, right? Because its values cannot be changed at all. So simply you can use delete here. See here, since tuples are immutable, we can't remove a particular item from that tuple, but we can delete the whole tuple. So simply I have passed this here, right? It means it's going to delete the complete tuple. So it has given any, it doesn't give any output, right? Because it's deleting the thing.
Sir, if you want to delete, we can convert into list and delete, sir.
Yeah, you can do that. It means again going to convert this A into list and then deleting the elements in that list and then converting it into tuple. That's it. So see here again, if at all, if you want to go from certain values to certain line, it is saying that tuple does not support item deletion. It means if at all, if you want to delete the complete thing, you need to delete that. If at all, if you want to delete particular thing, convert it into list and do that. So the same thing here as well, like how to using plus operator, we can join the tuples. There is no other method here. So simply it's going to add at the end of the first tuple, like we have C here, and then it's going to add 1, 2, and 3. So let me run this once. So this is how you can join. So the next thing is like tuple methods. Some of the tuple methods like we built like count and index, which we've seen for list as well, like count returns a count of a particular element, and index also returns the index of a particular element in that tuple. So we have tuple A and it has so many values, and I'm going to count the value of 1, like how many times it is present in that tuple. So the output is 1, because 1 is only one, it is present only one time and it is not repeated. So we got 1. So if it is 2,
Once give 7, sir.
it doesn't give anything. Say here 0, because it is not present in that, right? So only it will returns the count of element present in that. Otherwise it won't give, like it will treat 0 only, because that element is not present in tuple.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, this indexing also, it will return the index simply. I have given 4 here. So the first thing is considered. So the index corresponding to 4 is 0, right? It has given 0. Or if you want 7, we got index 2, 0, 1, and this is 2. So this is how you can get. This is all about tuples and list. Try to practice it. Practice will help you. That's it. By looking at this, you can easily understand, but whenever you are going to work out on very particular hard things, at that moment it's very bit hard for you. So is this clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nitin, I will explain that once here. So simply what I did is, we have a tuple called A with values Sriram and Santosh, and then I'm going to convert it into a list by using list method. See here, using list method, I'm going to convert that tuple into a list form and going to store it in B variable. So now the B would be a list, right? Nitin, is that okay? B would be a list right now.
Yes, sir.
So now in list you can do any type of operations, right? You can change the values or delete out anything, right? So I'm going to change the corresponding index. We have index 1 previously Santosh, right? And I'm going to change that index value to P. So I have changed that. So again, what I did is after changing, I'm going to convert that list into tuple again using tuple method. So just you need to input the list variable that is present for that list. So here we have list variable as P. I'm going to give that list variable B. So it would be converted it into tuple and the output is tuple. See here. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
The simple thing you can identify is for list we would be having square brackets. For tuples we would be having only open braces, open and close braces. So I'm going to wind up this session. If you have any doubts, then please ping me now. Otherwise, you can ask me in the WhatsApp group as well.
Now we have to attempt practical, please.
Yes, you can start it, but we haven't finished the module 2 yet, right? Yeah, sorry,
Yes,
we
sir.
have finished that module 2 and